Aloha! That is really hilarious. Oh my gosh, as a new streamer, uh this is Cosmic Cowboy and this is Cosmic Cowboy Now. I want to welcome you. I apologize because I'm 15 minutes tardy for anybody that might have been possibly waiting. But the most hilarious thing, I was just talking about a ton of stuff, including how everything is just a big cosmic joke. And I just was live. I was going off and starting the stream, and I just went off for 15 minutes and I thought I was live, and I was not live. So here we are. This is Cosmic Cowboy Now, the CCN, and it's also the Cosmic Consciousness Network. Okay, so instead of CNN, we're at CCN, the Cosmic Consciousness Network. Cosmic Cowboy Now. Here we go. Welcome, everybody. It is great to see you again. I'm really thrilled to be here on this episode 3 of Cosmic Cowboy Now. I'm excited to introduce a guest that will be with us, Thothschild, aka Thothschild, as I like to say. And he is a streamer himself and a DJ and an artist, and you know, he's a crypto enthusiast, and he's got a lot of wisdom to share. So we're going to bring him on and we're going to chat, and I'm going to interview him a little bit. That's coming up. I'm going to try and summarize the essence of what I was saying before, because the name of this episode is consciousness, uplifting consciousness, and I was sharing a few things that, you know, are along that theme. So here they are in short order: things that I would recommend, that I highly encourage, and these are things that just lift up the day, that uplift consciousness, that bring you into this ongoing present moment. And one is a cold shower. So if you've never done it, I'm sure most people probably have, but it's a great regular practice, is to just either be in the shower and crank it to the cold, you know, or even just go cold and get in. But it's physiologically really great. It's like you're cleansing yourself, you're washing your system. Of course, you get that just in general from showering. And but when it's cold, you're like waking yourself up, you're, you know, waking your cells up, and it's just got a lot of health benefits. You might have heard of Wim Hof. He's very popular now, doing his own. He uses pranayam, or breath exercises and breath techniques to bring you again into this really heightened energy state, into a state of awareness and possibility, and just accessing, you know, your fullest potential. He also highly recommends like ice baths, cold baths, and a cold shower is it's in the same vein. It's just, you know, if you don't have a big tub or something and you can't do an ice bath, then even a cold shower for a few minutes really wakes up your system. And so I recommend that. Another thing I recommend is beginning your day with some form of intention. So, you know, if you're somebody who likes prayer, you know, that's wonderful. If you're not down with that term, or don't like the idea of quote unquote prayer, then you can just bring your hands together and focus on your intention. Like, my intention with this current live stream is to uplift those that see this. That if there's any way that I can bring people's spirits up and their energy up, and remind them of how amazing and beautiful and gifted, talented, wondrous they are, then this is my intention. And so that would be an example of a focused intention for this stream. To start your day with that, to just, you know, kind of take a moment and what is my day, you know, about today? What do I want to focus on? What do I want to put my energy into? Hey, I see something from Torin, and I just want to say, this is a beautiful, beautiful moment, Torin, and thank you so much for being here because I'm beginning streaming. This is episode 3. These will always be live. The goal of my live streams is that I'm creating valuable content. So whenever you see this, we'll get into the fact. I've talked a lot about being a chrononaut or a time traveler. Really, all time is just one ongoing moment, eternal moment that we're, tapping into different aspects of. But I really want to acknowledge Torrin because I think in the life of this stream, and here we are in episode 3, I've actually never had a live comment, and so it's like it's a symbolic thing that life is a ongoing experience of kind of you get knocked down and then you get back up. And one of the things I actually wanted to talk about is celebrating our wins. You always have to celebrate your wins. It's important. You have to acknowledge your successes. And then, because when you have your failures, it gives you some energy. So anyway, just want to acknowledge Torrin for commenting. It makes me realize I'm not just speaking to the divine. I am speaking to the divine always, but that there's another 3D human watching here. And guess what? Our special guest has arrived and is in the green room. So I'm welcoming Thothschild, and he is a friend who I met in the crypto community. He's a fellow Hexican, Pulsican, and crypto enthusiast. He's so multi-talented. He has his own live stream and programs that I'm sure he can share about. He is a DJ. He is an artist, and just has a lot of wisdom to share. And whenever we talk, we end up kind of going off on these incredible tangents and things like that. So with no further ado, I'm going to bring in our special guest, Thothschild. Let me see here. I think I can just click here. Hey, how's it going? I like. Good to see you, my brother.
It's very strange that there seems to be some kind of like naturally occurring swastika in the middle of this thing's face, which is actually like what, an ancient symbol from the subcontinent in Asia, right?
Yes,
it has
yes,
a
that is
lot
correct.
of meaning to that before it was co-opted in by the Germans in the late 20s, early 30s. So
yeah,
so many things like that have been co-opted that, God, I want to be part of the movement that grabbed them back. Like, I want my kids to have rainbows again. The kids are allowed to have the fucking rainbows, man. Like,
absolutely. I played a character, a hillbilly homeboy in a film in my illustrious acting career, and they wanted a swastika tattoo, and so I actually flipped it, which of course very few people know. I was much more excited and like willing to wear the original symbol, which was a symbol of prosperity.
yes.
And power.
It's got a dynamism to it. It's a really active symbol, man.
Yeah, and if you go to India, I spent a lot of time in my life in India and the subcontinent, like you said, and you'll see these temples that actually have like the Star of David, the 2 triangles, the 6-pointed star, and then within it this original swastika, not the exact. It's in the opposite direction of the Nazi symbol,
sure.
but it's the same swastika, and most people don't know the direction of it, and so they're just very confounded and confused to see those 2 symbols together. But I totally I think that's a really good point, and it's also, to me, what's more important is that something that I got earlier in life that I think you would appreciate, Thoth, is nothing has any meaning beyond the meaning we give it. Like and so I'm saying that in that, like, somebody could say something to you, and if you assign meaning or hurt to it, you can get really upset, and it could really make you distraught. It could ruin your day, or it could mean nothing if you're actually willing to not assign that meaning to it. And like, Yeah, so like to different people there's different meanings of things, and we have that power. One of the things that we were talking about prior to the stream that we wanted to kind of bring up is this aspect of self-empowerment, and I think it's really important right now, even in
You
terms
just
of,
nailed it, dude. You
yeah,
just nailed it.
where
Because
we're at.
this takes cajones, right? This takes some bravery. And I notice as I take a granular view of not only the hexagons and the pulse-chaniacs, but our species, that I'm able to the limited ends that I'm able to view it. I look out across a landscape where I see a minority of people who have the strength and the belief and the peace of mind, you could even argue, to conduct their lives with resolute bravery, man. It takes, nuts. It really does to be able to say anything that comes across my desk, I'm allowed to determine what that's worth to me. I don't have to take a societal implication on a thing and have it impugn. It can be liberating just to realize that, man. There's one of your first steps to freedom.
Absolutely.
Hey,
and
dude,
and
good to
I
see you. Thanks for inviting me.
uh, Of course, man. It's so good to have you here.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I think you would appreciate this. So, I was saying this is only episode 3, and I'm excited to be streaming in general. One of the reasons I'm doing the Cosmic Cowboy now, aka CCN Cosmic Consciousness Network, is to remind
CCN.
everybody,
Yeah.
CCN, man,
Look out,
Cosmic
NBC,
Consciousness
man. Look
Network.
out, ABC. We got CCN up in this mode.
Yes. No, so what I was talking about before, I should apologize to my audience. I am going to get an isolated studio, but I live in a, what do they call it, open floor plan. It's almost like my entire house is like a loft. And so this dog that you hear barking in the background is actually, it's my house, but it's my dog. It's my neighbor's dog that comes into my house and and wreaks havoc and eats food and knocks things off the counter. Although
Dude,
she is the mother.
Oh my God. I experienced a similar thing in my life, and I've never experienced anything like this. Okay. Like, I'm not kidding when I tell people I'm the crazy guy who lives alone for half of the week in a little box in the woods. And the closest neighbors have a dog, and it wanders over here, and this motherfucker will look at me in my kitchen fucking window while I'm minding my own damn business, and he'll start barking at me like I'm not supposed to be here.
You're in his territory. But that brings up another point that I was going to say. So which is another thing that I started. So something that I think you'd appreciate, as this is an early stream, is that I thought I was live. So before you got here, I was basically going off, and I was starting the whole stream, and I went for 15 minutes, and then I looked on the thing, and it's like, enter live stream or start live stream, and or go live. It just said go live, and I'm like, wait a second, what?
Yo,
I mean,
man, watch my second episode. My second episode ever. Actually, no, it was a test stream. And then I had Balliot Brand, who was kind enough to be like my first official guest. That was an excellent stream,
nice.
episode 1. And then official, it was my third stream overall, but I called it number 2. It's legendary because I was like inspired as fucking Benito Mussolini up there on the and I look up 45 minutes, bro. 45 minutes. I was rapping to the ether, dude.
And it was not live, like it was just to yourself. Yeah. So
and it's a clip on my channel that everybody can watch and crack up about. The look on my face when I go over and I look and I'm like,
oh my gosh,
no,
that's
dude.
Great. So, well, but so this brings up what I did want to say, which is the importance of laughter, the importance of having a sense of humor, the importance of not taking anything too seriously, including ourselves, is huge. Like, I
would not
truly
still
believe
be
on a
here.
certain level,
Yeah.
it's all just a big cosmic joke. And so of course we're challenged, and there are things like, everything is relative. So it's not like I'm saying take nothing seriously, but on a certain level, having a sense of humor, laughing is a very healthy thing. So as my first question to you, can you share something in the last 72 hours that really made you laugh?
CC, man. I mean, you're talking about the pivot, like, of my entire existence. Like, there, it would be so hard. Like, I'll think about it as I speak, but bro, this is how I'm still alive, man. Like the cat with the 9 lives thing, sucker, dude. I was a wannabe gangster, a backpacker, a cracker hip hopper in a black man's world. I lived in some of the worst neighborhoods in Philadelphia. I was a drug addict and a drunk. I was in the music business. I was a hustler. Um, I had personality flaws that exacerbated potential for violence. Um, just the kind of guy who could say that one thing that would get you punched in your face. And I like to joke and I say, I didn't come out of mama's womb with this nose. You know what I'm saying? So um it was definitely, and I'm not even going to say like coping mechanism. It was humor and a laughter. It was interchangeably this gift and blessing of a felicity, right? Or like a lightness of your heart. But at the same time, you could get pushed so far beyond what you can take in this incarnation sometimes. And you'll lay back and just be like, I honestly think Richard Pryor or Dave Chappelle got nothing on the oversoul. You know what I'm saying, dude? Like, you'd be like, this is fucking unbelievable. And I think the biggest turning point for me was really embracing the self-effacing stuff, and not in a way that I was like being malicious to myself or to my short life or to my gifts or anything like that. I wasn't being cruel, but it was just like, look, man, if people understood the improbability that they are here drawing breath, that the body operates as it does, that daddy's one little fishy out of quintillions got to mommy's egg and everything was healthy functioning and you made it to term and you came out and you didn't die in childbirth, like and then just going on and on and on. If you think of the flux of iterations of the way things could play out in your life. Certainly don't dwell on it to a point that it makes you crazy, but just enough to feel the fucking gratitude. Okay. This is so important. And when you do that, man, you get the warmest smile. And that's a way that, germane to your wheelhouse, perhaps of specialty, and how you kind of coach your beloved about being here now. You know what I mean? That's a dynamic that was able to bring that forward in me. I
Yeah.
think
Oh my
laughing,
gosh.
smiling, joking, humor is very much has a way of putting us crisply in the moment.
I love it. I love it. I think that you hit on perhaps literally one of the most important words, themes, focuses of life itself, which is gratitude. If an attitude of living with an attitude of gratitude changes everything.
I
And
couldn't
I'm
wrap
and I
my
say,
head around it, CC. And my
yeah, I mean,
mom,
I
she
say
made sure,
humility.
to tell me
Yeah,
on her way out. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but my mother on her deathbed, I often will tell my Mexican brothers and sisters a lot of nona, okay? My mother, her wisdoms, okay? Fucking drop dead gorgeous. She had me when she was 19 years old. Drop dead gorgeous Siciliano Scotch Irish woman. Man, she grabbed me, pulled me close right at the end, and she said, for the 100th time, I have to remind you, man, don't forget the gratitude. And that time it stuck, CC. all my life I'd be like, what the fuck I gotta be fucking thankful for? Everything's fucked up right now. She says, you don't get it, kiddo. She said, you're not getting it, man. You let that imbue your entire soul and it multiplies and it makes you magnetic and resonant and infectious, and coin flips start going your way, things of this nature. Now, I could expound a little bit on the apophatic side of that a little later in the conversation, but yes, brother. I mean, I'm with you. Without humor and gratitude, it's done sun production, man.
And to some of our, like, some of our hex akin and pulse akin audience, I just want to remind everybody, there's always room for gratitude. If you're in that, you're in this ecosystem, that you're in this community, you're in a community that cares, you're in a community that is generally really thriving, that, in my opinion, is pushing things forward, that is looking forward, that is
There's
looking
nothing like it
up
in,
and up and to the right.
yeah, and there's nothing like it out here, CC. There's nothing like it. Brandon Rags to Riches and I recall that we might have grazed up against the world of the Dr. Charles Hoskinson and that whole Ada Cardano thing. And it was approaching Hexaco a little bit, but let's be honest. What are you going to get out of a yak milk drinking guy wearing those sweaters versus the moxie and the cajones of a Richard Hart, right? So we visited that, and that was as close as it got. And I look out across anything else that you could even remotely call a cryptocurrency community, and that seems almost generous to say that, because what's like, what do you think of? Like, well, there's the Shibs and there's the Dogers, and then like the XRP thing people, they seem like the entire basis of their even coming together as a community is a goddamn relationship with the federal government and a case. Like in this place, it's an entirely different beast, man, isn't it?
I think I've always said this. I think of things just in general in life. There's like energy, and there's always going to be a stream or a like beam of energy, and people are either gravitated to it, they're attracted to it, or not, or they're repelled. That's how most things work. What's really fascinating to me is I was definitely attracted to, from kind of like first introduction to this essence of what we can call the hex community, the pulse community. Now I love that we're adding pulse to it, just because, again, I like the symbolism of things, the esoteric behind the scenes, like what's really going on. And pulse,
The
it's coming from
pulsing,
somebody, it's
yeah.
coming from somebody named Heart, and it's the pulse, the
Oh, and the
the pulse
sexual
of the world.
entendre is just très nécessaire as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. So like the heartbeat of the planet, the pulse, the vibration, the planet Earth does have a pulse, and so we're tapped into that now. But it's really unique, which, again, I mean, that's something for me is always, I think for you relate to too, is if you're not, straight down the middle, I don't know what you want to call it, if you just find yourself a little unique, there's a lot of unique people in this community. Now,
I don't have
financial
any problem
literate
with it, man. Yeah, I
wise,
don't shy away from it because I stopped in part of my survival. I stopped living my life to make other fucking people comfortable. Okay. So I'm over that. So I'm going to tell you what it is: statists. And statists, I'm sorry, it may sound cruel. This is a yin yang here in this very stream, because this man is like a lot of compassion, a lot of looking on the bright side. Guess what? I'm not. I'm combative. Okay. I fucking don't mind static. I don't mind that kind of stuff. In fact, it could be argued that in a lot of ways, and I'm going to say this because it drives some people crazy. Thothschild, they hate it when I talk in the third person. Thothschild strives on this shit. Okay. That's like a high nitrogen fertilizer. I can move in those worlds in ways that other people can't. So I'm cool. And when I look out, and I smell statism, I could scarcely confuse that with anything other than maybe cowardice. Now, I do understand you got to be careful with that. You don't want to throw spears at people who ain't never had an opportunity to know any better. right? Because we got to leave a gap for them to try and slide in here with us and find their authentic selves. But that having been
Absolutely.
said, I do not have a lot of patience and time for what I consider to be cowardly and lazy. And there's a lot of laziness, man.
Well, let's hope that people seeing this are going to be, motivated and inspired and take action and be courageous. One thing I forgot to say, I want to circle back. So one thing that's really funny is that we're both from or rooted around the city of brotherly love. And
That's right. Oh my
one
God.
thing that is really funny for me in the last 72 hours is I made the innocent assumption of go birds, go birds, and so
Yeah.
the response I get from Thothschild is like, hey, look, we're cool, I'm down, but just so you know, there was many a day when I would have kicked your ass just for that comment. So you never make assumptions. He's a Steelers fan, and
I founded the South Philadelphia Pittsburgh Steelers fan club, which, by the way, to my knowledge, exists to this day. I have not watched an NFL football game in 8 seasons, and I have not watched an NFL football game in the city of brotherly love with the club that I helped to found in probably 11 years. I was at 6'2". I was the peanut of that clan, and we got off on wearing our colors and strutting down South Street, man. You
which
get
is really
used to like having root beer thrown at you and shit,
I was
but
going to say, well, which is really interesting, kind of given what you've said, a little bit about your story with, like just, marching to the beat of your own drummer. I mean, I can testify that in the middle of downtown or South Philly, it's not exactly an easy thing to just be a proud Steelers fan. That's a bold way to live. And good for you.
No, if it wasn't for, I'll tell you right now, if it wasn't for in sub segments of the culture and society there, if I didn't have a ghetto pass in some of them neighborhoods, and if I didn't have friends in the electricians union in other neighborhoods, I would have been at the bottom of the Delaware River, brother.
Oh my gosh.
It also helped,
well,
like I alluded to the fact that at 6'2", I was the little guy. I mean, Pete Dash, rest in peace. This big brother, man, with his Greg Lloyd or Troy Polamalu jersey on, he was like 6'8", 6'9".
wow.
KT, professional skater. I think I got one of Kevin Taylor's boards here somewhere. He's 6'5". We were a big crew. I don't think we would have stepped with our colors the way we did in enemy territory if we weren't supremely confident. I think they knew we had a screw loose, and it made them back off a little bit.
Oh wait, so this brings me, we got limited time,
Yeah.
but
I want to let you know real quick. I'm sorry to cut your flow, but just so that you know, point of procedure, I have clearance now to go right up until the wire, so I can stay with you until what would be 5 o'clock Eastern time. So that's an hour and 15 minutes we have yet.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we've basically got about 60 minutes, 60 magic minutes, because
got you, brother.
I gotta jump too.
May I turn this up and listen to you? I literally ran in without closing my car door, without closing my front door, without taking the grocery.
Totally.
So I'm going to listen to you and I'll be right back.
All right. No worries.
Thank you, my brother.
So, so one of the things I was going to say that I wanted to do on stream is I want to pull a quote from this book. And this, I mean, I'm going to try and do different quotes on different streams. It's not always the same, but this is a cool book. And it's called The Messiah's Handbook. I think I hope I'm not repeating myself, because I'm pretty sure this was said when I was not live. I think this was part of my whole little monologue and everything that I did when I wasn't live. So I'm going back and doing it again. But this is one of my favorite authors. Richard Bach wrote a book called, and this is really funny because Tehote Thothschild, I think we spoke once before, and he's a big fan of this book too. It's called Illusions: The Journey of a Reluctant Messiah. and it's about this character, and he flies these barnstorming old-fashioned planes through the fields of the Midwest, and he's kind of like this messiah figure. He's really this mysterious and gifted, beautiful guy, very understated, but he refers to the book, this handbook, in the novel. And so it's kind of cool that years later, Richard Bach released this book, which was referenced in the novel, called The Messiah's Handbook. And it's a book with kind of quotes, questions, things like that. And, you don't read it from beginning to end. You just flip through it and open it to a page, and it asks a question or says something that can kind of guide you. So this is kind of a fun thing I thought I would do on my stream. So I'm going to flip through it right now. If you're watching this stream, I want to empower you, because I might be flipping through the book, but this is going to be for all of us. So sort of flip through it with me, and when I get it, I'm going to just stop, and that'll be it. Okay, I got it. This is today's stream's quote. It is, "Why bother to live an unhappy life?" I love it. And that's it. That's the only thing on that page. Why bother to live an unhappy life? I think that actually really makes a lot of sense. Again, I never want to undervalue, downplay challenge. We're most of us faced with tremendous challenges all the time. But there's also, like the Abraham Lincoln quote, most people are about as happy as they make up their minds to be. And I really think that in general life, it's not about the things that hit us or knock down or that we're faced with. It's how we react to them. And it's totally true. Like, so why bother living an unhappy life? We have this opportunity to live a happy life and generate joy. Some of the things that we were talking about earlier in terms of gratitude is really important. There's always going to be things that we can be grateful for, even if it's just the breath. I open this stream with aloha, which is there's a lot of meanings to that. Of course, it's a greeting, and it's also an invitation. May we share this sacred breath of life together. That's really what it's saying. So breath is something that we can be grateful for. Usually when we wake up, the sun is out. I mean, at some point in the day, you can look up and see a little light, see a little sun. And then, if you've got a roof over your head, if you've got anybody that you can talk to that loves you, there's just all these basic things that, if you really look at, they're huge elements that we can have gratitude for. And specifically, because I'm hoping a lot of the audience here is sort of in the crypto community, and we have been enduring what's called bear market. I think this is a really important time for these basic things, sometimes you don't look at your bag and have the celebration, I mean, when you do or when it's running up and all of that, hey, it's fun, it's great, it's like you're at the amusement park and the roller coaster is flowing and everything like that. But then there's times when you show up and you're really excited and the amusement park is completely closed and it starts to rain. So you're there and you're like, wow, I was so excited to have fun and do all these fun things, and now it's closed and I'm shut out. And then on top of that, it's raining. And so it takes a very special thing to, kind of go inside yourself and find the fun, there's people that are, choose to dance in the rain. And there's people, or just to weather the storm. I mean, there are times that it's important to just weather the storm. And one of the things that I think is really great is that we do have, a thriving community here. There's so many, you can't even follow all the streams. We've got people that are doing streams based on market analysis and, kind of like financial literacy, technical analysis. We've got people that are, focused more on, onboarding or, future projects and projects that are coming out on the Pulse network, the Pulse chain. There's just different varieties. I think this stream for me is primarily focused on themes of inspiration, motivation, fun, entertainment, and hopefully healthy, edifying dialogue. and that's why I try and invite you know, interesting guests and everything. And I know that one thing I would like to acknowledge is there has been some infighting, there has been some controversy, and I guess what I would say towards all of that is, you know, we're a community, and we're a family, and whose family do you know of that doesn't have some bickering and fighting and challenges and, you know, people that are disagreeing on certain things? It's kind of, again, it's kind of part of the fun and part of what, you know, I mean, in the beginning of the Hex journey, certainly for those that were, you know, around year one pre big payday, there was a lot of that with the whole rest of the crypto universe. You know, it was defending it and explaining that, you know, it's not a scam, and all the things why it's an amazing project and has great potential and immutable code, all these things. But it was a fight. It was like there were people that were adamant and aggressive and all of that. And so, and then at a certain point that shifts. But if you're not having that challenge and sort of adversaries outside of the community, well, then sometimes it happens in the community. So let's see. I'm just want to say I'm really happy to see some people here. I'm just kind of getting into the swing of the whole streaming and everything. I would like to get to the point when I can take comments from people that are watching live, and we can kind of dialogue or riff on certain things in that way. And so I'm saying, I said hi to Corin. I see Hexwood. I don't know if that's right now. Yeah, it looks like it is. So, hey, Hexwood, thanks for being here. So, yeah, let's see. What else did I want to talk about in terms of this theme of this episode, uplifting consciousness? I had talked about the importance of taking care of yourself and taking a cold shower. I think that was live. I think that wasn't part of the one that was cut off. I talked about intentionality, starting. And when I say start your day, it could be right now in this moment. It doesn't matter if it's night or midday or whenever, but I'm just saying, if you are waking up, these are things that I think are great to kind of start your own day, uplift yourself, is to create some intention and focus on what you're going to do today. Another thing that we were talking about is or at least at some point came up, celebrating your wins. You know, right now I would say, like, just as an exercise, you could take a moment, close your eyes if you want, not if you're driving, and just focus on literally in the last day, in the last 24 hours, what are like 3 things that were really great, that were like, you know, it could be really small things, you know, whether you had a moment with a friend or one of your pets, or, you know, and it could be that you went for a walk outside. It could be somebody, you know, acknowledged you, complimented something that you did. It could be anything, but just to take a moment and actually recognize like 3 things that were really good. That's the practice of celebrating your wins, and everything kind of magnifies on top of itself. So, you know, like the happier you are, the happier you'll be. You know, like the more frustrated you are, the more frustrated you'll usually be. It's everything. It's kind of like the cyclical patterns of energy and just the way the nature of things are. And so we've got those 2 things, or those few things, and in addition to that, let's see, what else did I want to talk about? I wanted to get into some of the infighting. We went through that. Let's see, in terms of what is there to look forward to. I mean, and this is just very present tense right now. I am looking forward to, I mean, there's a lot of people that are saying things are actually turning around, and that we are heading, I mean, in a lot of the other scene in crypto, there's stuff that is kind of going up, which is really interesting and exciting for a lot of people. And so, you know, we're in this shifting market, and what I would say is, I mean, I'm really excited. I mean, I'm like, great. I mean, I feel like we've already weathered a lot of the bear, so to speak, and I think we're ready for you know, the turn of things. But my emphasis would be on you know, what is in our control. There was a great holy person in India once that said, money comes and goes, morality comes and grows. And the idea behind it is, there's just always going to be ups and downs. There's going to be times when your account is way flush, and there's going to be times when, you're struggling and could use even support from others. But it doesn't change your moral compass in life. It doesn't change your who you are and how you behave and your choices in the world. And I think that's, the really, in a way, the most important thing is, if you're whatever's going on the outside, if you have the capability of maintaining a positive attitude and basically, like, creating that inner joy, that inner happiness, then it's all good in the hood. It's like it can only go up. Everything can only get better. I did. We have. We're entering the month of February, and so I thought one thing that would be fun for us to do, and again, it really doesn't matter when you're seeing this, when you're watching this. It might not be February, but right now it's we're currently entering this space of February. The good news is, whenever it is, this is going to be a fun exercise. So I said I was going to read a quote on the streams. And another thing that I wanted to do is send some intentionality out. This is an experiment in the power of community, the power of collective consciousness. And so if you're watching this live, I invite you to participate. Be a participant here, not just an observer. And so I'm going to put my hands together. I love prayer, but it doesn't really matter if you like that word or connect to it. If you want to just say focus energy or intentionality, that's good too. And so the focused energy that I wanted to do for this particular episode, because we're entering this month of February and the Valentine's Day is going to come up in a few weeks. I just thought I wanted to focus on love and people's heart being filled. There's a lot of people in the world that they feel like their heart is not full. And they feel like an emptiness, and they want it to be nurtured and filled or supported by this, romantic aspect of love, or love and connection with another being. So I just thought that's something we could focus on together. So for a moment, I just bring you into this, focused moment, and just close your eyes and focus for a second on everybody else. And it can be you too, if you want to include yourself here, but everybody else in the planet that could be in this place. If there's anybody in this world that feels their heart is not completely full and would love to have it filled with this like romantic partnership, and let's just use our energy. So collectively, we're just wishing everybody in the world has their hearts filled and finds that partner and that romance and that passion and that sizzling, sexy juiciness is fulfilled. That's the focus right now. Man, I'm seeing a lot of happy people. I'm seeing a lot of sweat. I'm seeing a lot of exciting things. So thank you for participating with me. And if you're out there and you're one of those people, please come back. Let us know how it went. Did it work? But know that we got your back. We're looking out for you. Oh, and we got Thothschild back. How's it going?
It's going good. Listen, I genuinely apologize to you as well as your viewership. I know that everybody has their cross to bear. My cross is pretty interesting. Anybody who wants to do a swap for a day or a week, I'd love to check out how the other half lives, man. I got little ones on the way. The 4 best mistakes I've ever made in my life. I tell them that right to their face. It's a good thing they're made of the weirdness that their father's made of, because they get a chuckle out of that.
I love
Hey,
it. I love it.
CC, I want to take a walk, if you will allow me for a moment, a walk of logic with our crowd here, because I heard something that you hit on, and it's really important. And I think maybe a little dash of Thothschild view in the cookie batter would be helpful here.
That's why you're here.
Well, thank you, brother. I know that I'd laid some low-hanging fruit out. earlier on if I characterize myself as somebody who's horny for the embrace of combat, right? He likes the static, but I can assure you and the crowd, it's never been for the sake of it. It's had protein behind it. Okay. Usually first principles. I came into Hexaco as a 30-year student of alternative modalities of research. People say conspiracy theorists. No, I say conspiracies exist. So we're going to go on ahead and we'll call that conspiracy analysis. I read Behold the Pale Horse by William Cooper, may he rest in power, not long after it came out. So that gives you an idea of how long I've been out here on these edges. The reason that I bring this up is because my ears perk up, ample that they are, when I heard you talking about the static and divisions within Hexaco. Here's the deal. To me, I'm fighting for the most important thing, not only in my life, other than, the direct lives of my progeny, okay, and my loved ones. I'm fighting for their future. I'm fighting for first principles. I'm fighting for, wait for it, sovereign autonomy under universal natural law. I've identified a strain that exists not exclusively in Hexaco. It exists in all blockchain financial products. I've called them the when me me's, the when me me's, the when me. When me. If you take the motivation and hunger, what's the gas in that gas tank? When the fuck am I going to get over? When am I going to get mine? When's this motherfucker going to pop? Right? When can I get wealthy? I need, want, get. When me. So they're over on one side and they're real. Real as a heart attack they are. And they're here. They are. And then you got people who are like maybe whales only lane, like maybe a U lane, where it's like getting abundance and enjoying the fecundity that the oversoul has provided in the form of having fucking material goods or the ability to buy your own time. Yes, that's attractive. We're only fucking incarnate mortals and beings like the rest of y'all. But here's the difference. That abundance and fecundity is a sidecar. That's not the main motivation, man. The when me couldn't give a fuck less about no oversoul, about no fecundity, don't even know what that means. And they're offended that a jackass like me would even use such a word. They don't care about first principles. They don't care about sovereignty. They don't care about autonomy. They don't care about responsibility. They don't care about suffering. In fact, whereas it might not even affect them directly in a purview that they can perceive, they don't even really get bothered by the subjugation of the fucking human species, bro. So we're going to have a problem. We are. Because you, when Mimis, are seeking to guide and push this thing in a certain direction that I could tell you is dangerous. I can also admit to you, I'm fucking offended by it. You know, it's not hard to figure out that if I'm in the way in some way of them getting over, shut the fuck up. Don't burden me with your heavy bullshit. I don't care. I want to get rich. And I'm like, don't trifle, right? Me and my tribe and my children's with your trifling bullshit about when me get rich without thinking holistically and macrocosmically enough about the implications of a world without your sovereignty and without your autonomy, and additionally without your brothers and without your sisters, right? Sovereignty and autonomy. So this, my friend, is, I think, a place where we could drill down a little bit on the dynamic of why this occurs, that having been said, I can skip around a lot of it. I go on Twitter almost every day. I don't engage anybody on fucking Twitter. You know what I mean? So I pick my battles, and I've hurt some feelings, but I gained wisdom somewhere in this last half century. I'm looking at myself crisply, clearly, and cleanly. I'm done bullshitting myself, man. This is important. What Richard has given us without the middlemen, the immutable thing, you know what I mean? The way that the math of the dynamic of the math plays out. I mean, it's elegant. It's like an orchestra of math that's perfect. And people who seek to kind of shit on it or undermine it, I never going to be able to take that blithely. You know what I'm saying, brother?
Yeah, what it reminds me of, again, something we talked about off camera, but that I think is really worth mentioning, which is, when you talk about the macrocosmic and like what's really happening. And I think it goes to the very foundation of reality, as we were saying. And I support this notion that we're, Terence McKenna talked about it, and a lot of other people have talked about it, and that we're really heading in an accelerated way toward this point, or whatever you want to say, a shift. And I feel like there are more and more portals that are coming up. You could even argue that crypto as a whole is a portal, that the hex is a more centralized portal, and the portals are carriers or entranceways into different dimensions, different realities. And
well, let's tell the crowd real quick where you and I had crossover. And this was another one of those, as I called them, serendipitous synchronicities. This man and I, right, Cowboy Thothschild, had never met. And he's in Vegas at a Hex conference giving a speech pointing out the gnosis, the esoteric significance of the math and geometry of the Hex crypto, as I had independently, separate from him, come to many of the same conclusions and written extensively about it in my onboarding effort. When I heard him talking, I was like, well, there's a brother from another mother,
Yeah. And it's and that's what I was saying. It's really fascinating. I feel like that in a lot of ways, like not always in that, hey, we've arrived at all the same conclusions, but
we had divergencies in different highlights. But
what the thing that I think you're acknowledging is that there is a kinship with a lot of people in the community, that there's, like you were saying before, that there's something deeper. I mean, I was involved in a lot of other crypto too. And actually, before I get too into that, I want to enjoy you as a guest. So would you be willing, I know you've probably done it on other streams, but just in a short, succinct way, can you share a little bit about your origin story into the crypto and into Hex and this community?
Oh, sure. Yeah, the only time that I ever really got to do this exercise was with the kid that I named C4, right? Like TNT and shit, like Dynamite, like Corey Costa's crypto coins. He was the only interview I've had in like 2 years where somebody was really asking me those kind of questions. And shout out to Hex Luther, who let me talk about etymology over 2 episodes on Official Pulsification back when he was with them. And shout out to Ashley Ash, who's totally down with the stranger shit, man. She runs a pretty interesting show over there. You guys should check that out if you haven't. So, boy, oh boy, it was a hard labor for my mother. I'm just kidding, dude. I guess without ever being pretentious, trying. It's so, I'm sorry, forgive the term, guys. It's so fucking gay to be like, I fancy myself as being different. It was never like that. It's just, I was distinct in certain ways. You have weird, a lot of us have maybe weird, what you would call gifts that are also curses, right? As children, like perceptive abilities and things like that. And then I guess Rainmaker talked about it with me, but I had the fucked up like vocabulary at like age 4, and it freaked people the fuck out. There's like, who's this fucking big-eared alien kid, dude? Like saying dexterity, and he's still fucking pissing in his diaper or something. You know, it was, I don't know. Rainmaker says it's from trauma because I got yanked out of my mom with a pair of salad tongs, right? And they crushed my little head, and it unlocked something. But I was always, the reason I bring this up is because I was always looking. It was at the Crypto Spar book appearance when I brought them to Philadelphia that came to me in real time. I said all my life, I was sending out a signal, okay? Boop, 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 and dead air. No response. Disappointing, frustrating, that is. Sometimes hatred is what comes back. And you do this for years and years and years. And you go through all the fucking foibles and follies of like an adolescent, a post-adolescent, a 20-something. You're angry. Sending the signal out. Sending the signal out. I sent it out in hip-hop, in jazz a little bit, and I started finding some like-minded people. But the music consumed me, but the culture and the tribe, not as much. I don't know. And mind you, you know how earlier I was talking about how Mother was like, give gratitude, because the universe is going to seek balance, and what you're putting out, it's going to feed back to you. I have to share with my brothers and sisters, and they could probably not only resonate with this, but even echo the sentiment. There's no fucking manual that says, after you've had 7 things go wrong in a row in this incarnation, the 8th coin flip is going to go your way. Yeah, I'm here to testify. I found out the hard way that 11 can go wrong. 14.
Oh my gosh. Hold on. Stop the press. It's 11:11. This is our 11:11 moment. Sorry to interrupt, but here in my time zone, it's 11:11. And on this stream at 11:11, this is our manifestation moment. So if you're watching live or you're watching this at any time, this is your chance. Close your eyes. You can put your hands on your heart. Focus on what you are manifesting and what you want to manifest in life. Whatever it is, I see it as real right now. See it as live and direct, in effect. This is it. We're manifesting it right now. Now feel, how does it feel to have manifested this thing? This, whatever it is, how does it feel? You got to feel it inside. That's what matters. Okay, yes. All right. Sorry for the interruption.
This is one of the features that's going to keep me and a lot of these people coming back, CC. Don't you ever go changing, baby. I love it. I love it.
And you said 11.
And I said 11.
You actually said 11 right when it turned 11:11.
Woo, Lord. Fucking classic, man. Oh, my God. You know, Cowboy was on one of my streams, guys. Number 10. It was me and a whole lot of pretty girls, and then this schmuck. And
I like ruined you. You were just a stud, and I had to come on.
It was cool. Although I did later on write a little fiction piece when my PulseCon dreams were imploding, and that was turning into a dumpster fire. I write an entertaining piece about a panic nightmare sequence that I was going through, and you and those girls in that panel made an appearance. You know, it's like I had 110 temperature and I'm dry heaving, and I don't know whether I'm in this dimension or if I'm passed out or I'm awake or if I'm on Mars or I'm in Pittsburgh. Like it was like some Hunter Thompson bad trip shit that I was going through at that time. And
if I remember, the theme was synchronicity, wasn't it?
It was serendipitous synchronicities. And this is something that came to the fore as I committed more and more to the Richard Hart ecosphere. And, moreover than that, I found the beautiful souls and the talents and the coherence with these people, man. It was like all of a sudden, all this freaky, strange, beautiful miracle shit started happening. You know what I'm saying? what was your question again? For the
Well,
love
here's
of God.
I love it. Here's another question I wanted to ask
Well,
you.
wait,
These
what was
are
the original question? Just so I could
well,
think.
the original was your origin story into
Oh,
the
the
community.
origin, right? Okay, so I could continue that, but go ahead and add your addendum if you want. Yeah.
Well, first, no, I'll let you finish. I'll let you
Okay,
finish. I
so
think
I'll
it's
just make it real quick. So
it's interesting.
I was like everybody, okay? Because I'm there, I'm part of the workforce at this point now. I was knee deep in like a bad Oxycontin reliance habit. I was treating my depression and lack of direction with the euphoria from these opioids, you know. So my music career now is at an end. And I don't know if you guys have gone through anything like this in your life, but I literally went from being the center of attention in a very vibrant night scene with the prettiest girlfriend. And I was on some magazine covers and I had a lot of flyers and posters. Wow, big man. You are now stepping over the threshold into a rehab facility, having entirely surrendered. Okay. You're a fucking mess, yo. Everybody fucking money. Nothing you've done's worked out. And guess what? Remember how you were king shit on stage with your little guitar, king shit up in the DJ booth, scratch, scratch, scratch? After that first day in rehab, I went into a car wash and made $9.75 an hour with a baby on the way. Probably one of the best things that ever happened to me, man. So I wasn't satisfied with that. Led to contracting because I come from a lineage of salt of the earth people. Okay, we're capable people. We got good hands, as it were. And I'm working and working. I'm like, this is never. It was like my funny little thing I did about Richard and putting the hand truck in the Hex Museum when he's working out the math of how long he'd have to work for his father to get the orthodontist to work on his teeth when he busted them out. I'm sitting there thinking, dude, I could do drywall 90 hours a week. It's never going to get there. Now, this is now 2010. So we had the crash and we had Satoshi. And I'm looking and damn it, I had the opportunity. I knew some geeks that had this shit on towers, on hard drives. And I was like, so sour, I was like, that shit's not going to work out, man. I don't know what it is. It doesn't make sense, but they're going to squash it. 2000, boy, oh boy, 18, 17. It was Richard, basically, okay? But he was shitting on Ethereum at the time. Richard was. He was a Bitcoin maxi. So I tried to get a Coinbase account and it took forever. I couldn't get I was really bad at that kind of stuff, CC. Like things that other people could do, like file taxes. You know what I mean? To me, it was like trigonometry, some of this stuff. And getting that Coinbase account was proving nearly impossible. I couldn't get verified. It took months. And I remember I think I knocked over a convenience store for about $800. I'm kidding. And I had, I put 400 in Bitcoin and 400 in this thing that's supposed to be the skinny fucker. He's going to make the computer of the internet, something like that. So yeah, 400 Bitcoin, 400 Ethereum. Okay. Well, then what happens? Same thing that always fucking happens. The bottom falls the fuck out. And I'm looking peripherally at Richard, and Richard's like confusing me because now he's got fluid dynamics professors on the air. And I'm like, what the fuck does this have to do with Bitcoin and Ethereum? And I got really disgusted. I sold everything except for 300 USD worth of Ethereum. And I left it. And I left it for a couple years. And I should have by rights been an OG in Hex, but I was going through a divorce at that time. All this series of delights in Thothschild's life. It's fucking pretty funny, man. It's like a Greek tragedy. But I go back and I'm like, I want to get into this more, man. And at the time I had a relative and he and I would research shit. I told this story before. There's Zilliqa. Ooh, that's interesting. Ooh, Algorand. Oh, I heard they're in talks with the United States federal government. They might become the skeletal system of was eventually going to be Fed coin. And we didn't even understand the implications of what that meant back in 2019. Okay. And we're going through all these different projects. But anyway, I went back in that Coinbase wallet. And remember how I told you I left like $200 worth of Ethereum in that Coinbase wallet? It was like 6, 7x.
Nice,
I was like, what
nice.
the fuck? Where did this? Is this real? So that's when I started spreading out, and I got a little of this, a little of that, a little of that, and then it was hex around I joke and I say day 420, because of the significance of that. I'm not quite sure the exact day. I knew I committed. Like I had been like, I'm getting in that fucking Richard Hart thing for a very long time, but I didn't actually pull the trigger on a buy until around the 420s. And I verifiably staked for the first time on day 469. True.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. So you were definitely around for the birth and sacrifice of Pulse and PulseX and that type
Oh
of thing.
shit, that's where I cut my teeth. I tell
Yeah.
stories about how I'd be on a ladder contracting. I was on a scaffold in the wind, 3 stories up one day in Pulse main chat,
Oh my God.
working
Oh
on the
wow.
side of a building, debating with some Scandinavian dude in Pulse, Maine.
All right, here's another question for you.
Okay.
This is just you might have to think about this one for a second, but I think it could render an interesting answer.
Okay.
What's an insult that has been thrust upon you that you're actually proud of?
He's niggerish.
Please explain.
Okay. My dad, for all his gifts, he was a heavily abused farm boy. Half of the family from coal patches, which is what we call the factory towns that the immigrants worked in Western Pennsylvania. The other half were carpenter farmers. Okay. Um, my dad's dad was a bastard and he throttled the child bad. So my dad always had a lot of compassion for people who didn't have a fair shot. And that led him into teaching. Teaching led him into special education. Special education led him into the inner city. So, long story short, as the oldest, okay, in my family, I have one brother, one sister. As the oldest, my big brothers were Jose and Demetrius from dad's after school program at the hard ass school where he taught. These guys treated me like a little crown prince. If you fucked with me, they kicked the living shit out of you. They bought me Tootsie Rolls and Tootsie Pops and baseball cards. And they were the guys that showed me how to cut out linoleum and cardboard to break dance on. These were the
Nice.
guys that taught me part of my style. And these are the guys that got me my first Kangol and Adidas and taught me how to do the caterpillar and the robot and the dolphin and, Beat Street, you're the king of the beat, and you'll be rocking that beat all across the street. Beat Street has a lesson too. You can't let the streets beat you. Huh. A
Philly
turntable,
hip
birds
hop,
in the sand.
Philly hip hop, early hip hop. I
Well,
love it.
listen, to be accurate, yeah, Philly radio, Philly satellite, because in actual point of fact now at this time, I'm in Harrisburg, okay, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Famously
That's
for
even more. That's
TMI,
even
right?
more impressive.
Well, they were gully. You know what gully means? It means like more violent, more ghetto. They were gullier in Harrisburg and Lancaster and York because they had something to prove. They were like smaller town brothers, so they were like twice as determined to fuck you up or shoot you. You know what I'm saying? So it was dicey. I mean, I can tell you 100% in confidence, having never served in the United States military, I've been verifiably shot at twice in my life. Like I wrote a song that was my sonic experience of bullets ricocheting off of like stoops and sidewalks and shit. It was crazy. I saw a lot of fucked up shit, but
we we hear a lot on your streams, and we get your perspective. Another thing I was curious of that might,
Mhm.
give us some insights. Tell us about two of the most influential people in your life and how they impacted you.
Is this tactile or like personal, or could it be
Could be anything,
like a
anything.
writer?
Just yeah, yeah. No, it doesn't have to be like, family or somebody you've met
Mhm.
personally. Just two people that you feel like definitely impacted your life. And okay, I was gonna if you needed a little time, I could go on.
Listen, sometimes we just go blah 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 blah, and I'm guilty as anybody. And I've seen Daniel Dumaye, more popularly known as the rapper in the mask, MF Doom, the deliberate way that that man would answer questions, may he rest in power as well. I was so impressed by that, that I resolved in my life, if I'm asked questions like that, I'm going to actually take a breath.
I
Uh,
love it. As you
sometimes,
should. As you
Yeah,
should.
yeah.
That's why I
Okay, so
said I want to get some real questions so people can get to know you a little bit deeper.
thanks, man. I know who it is. I know who it is. It's going to be Philadelphia jazz guitarist. I can show you him. Philadelphia jazz guitarist, birth name Patrick Azuri. This was Pat Martino. Rest in, boy, it sounds like everybody. Jesus Christ. Rest in power, Pat. Pat was my jazz guitar hero. He was a beast at playing like these 16th note triplets and these intervallic runs that made my fucking remaining hair stand on end. The nickname that the downbeat writers in the late 60s gave Pat Martino, Philadelphia jazz guitarist, was the Velvet Hammer.
Wow.
Dude, this guy, it made my heart feel a certain thing. I had girlfriends that said that their clitorises would like jump in their pants at these concerts. This man knew how to get up inside of a song and capture the point that you would all start crying because you wanted to go home, or not home in your residence, home for your human fucking soul. I'm talking about. It made you feel things when this guy played, and that it wasn't for everybody. Okay. Famously, an album comes to mind of Pat Martino's called Ballena. It was the psychedelic meditations on the Quran. Now, at
Wow.
this time I found this, I was going out to Overbrook in West Philadelphia, and I almost became a full devotee of Bawa Muhyiddin. Blessed be his name. He was a Sufi teacher. So I'm listening to this record by Pat Martino as I'm having that life experience. Long story short, guys, I never did commit. Once I repudiated my legacy Catholicism, I never did go official on a religious path. I've never really been that guy, but I got this close, man. This close to joining that fellowship and going to mosque every day of the week. I decided not to, and it had to have been the right choice, and I'm sure Bawa and the fellowship forgive me. you know. So it was Pat Martino, and I'd be more than happy to share people links and the inspirations and all that jazz from him. Now, here's the thing, guys. Imagine your hero, right? You got him on a pedestal. He became my personal fucking friend, calling me by my first name. His little Japanese wife would call my Korean girlfriend by her first name. We'd hang out and have drinks. He took me on as his student, my hero. He said I could I cut my teeth. I was in the woodshed. I got the dexterity. I got the accuracy, the tonality. And then marriage was on the rocks and kids needed food. And I either had to work twice as much, or I could drive down to Philly one day a week from an hour away once we had moved out and had kids. and I couldn't do it, and I put it off for 2 years, and Pat died 2 years ago. That'll be a point.
And what is your instrument?
Oh, just guitar, a 335s, typically from the Gibson and Epiphone series. I would play with like Fender tube amps, and I talked to Torn about this because he's kind of a luthier and a guitar tech. And I would play. You know how your typical Yngwie Malmsteen, Eddie Van Halen guy is going to play with a 7, 8, 9 on the high string so that he can get that bend and that action on it. With me, I'm damn near playing a bass guitar on the guitar because I'm trying to go for the warmest, you know what I'm saying, tone that you could get. Guys, you could do this right now. Pat Martino covers Joni Mitchell, Both Sides Now. I think even Cassandra Wilson might have done a vocal version with him. That song will pull at your fucking heartstrings for sure. And I'll tell you what, I'm gonna give you guys a quick treat. Hold on.
Oh, I love it. This is it. I think we're getting a little. We might get a little. Are we gonna get serenaded?
No, because I won't disrespect my art like that. You won't catch me doing that because I know that I haven't picked up my instrument, and I go a year at a time. I've gone in this past 10 years. Right now I'm in the middle of a 7-8 month where I haven't played. This is a distinct decision that I made to be a father, a present father. I wasn't going to come home with cocaine rings around my nose and lipstick on my shirt, and these things were rather we lost the brother. Oh, there you are. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, you're still here.
You blacked out for a minute, and I wasn't sure if you got kicked from the stream. But no, I had to make a decision to get out of music overall because it was an affair of the night. And I couldn't be clubbing anymore. I couldn't be living that life. So I had to back out of it. And sadly, don't worry, I'm going to find it again. I'm in the process of finding my production and my rap, and right now I'm co-working because the second person that influenced me, I'm going to tell you here in a second, but remember the Korean beauty I alluded to. One of Pat's best friends on South Street was a photographer named Bunky. Those of you who have Philadelphian roots will know who Bunky was. But there's a custom shot, one of a kind that Bunky took, okay, of the Sage Master.
Beautiful photo. Beautiful.
He's actually playing. Gibson did a short run of this is on my When Pulse, motherfuckers, When Pulse. You see that? You see that axe? That's probably going to be my only indulgence for myself is I want to get a Pat Martino Gibson someday. There's not a fuck ton of them.
Does that mean one of his actual guitars?
No, it was a line.
Or Gibson actually did one like with him.
Yes, they designed one with him. It only did like a run of like 8,000 of them on the planet or something, but that's something I very, very much want to get. Now you'll see on the pick guard. I'll try and show you guys. You see on the pick guard. Let me see if you guys can see. You see on the pick guard there his signature. Okay. And then right below it, and then let me see if I can find it. Yeah, there, right below it, you see the same signature from Pat Martino, and who's it written out to? To Ian. That's my name.
Nice.
Yeah, dude, this is the nicest little thing that girlfriend had lined up. She got for me. The guy who taught me theory is a great guitarist. He did a lot of notable projects. He was the co-composer of. Do you guys remember how they did Miami Vice again? Tim Motzer was the co-composer of Miami Vice soundtrack with Philadelphia producer DJ named King Britt, who we worked with, and they did that Miami Vice soundtrack. And he and I would go see Pat together a lot, and just have some beers and talk about this man's brilliance. Um, I
All
left
right.
one thing out. I left one thing
Yeah.
out of the story. He got brain cancer in 1981. He did.
And survived it.
Forgot how to play his fucking instrument, brother. And in recovery from the cancer, relearned his instrument.
Wow. Amazing. That's
True story.
inspiring.
True story. The second person who influenced me is my music partner, a guy I've been working with for 30 years and just got reunited with. He goes by the name Roganov. I did a stream about him in episode 76 because he and I are coming out of sabbatical retirement. We're making a record right now.
This is exciting. What would you say his impact has been on you?
It gave me reliably a motherfucker who I wanted to punch in the goddamn mouth most of the time. Yeah. Real cocksucker. Real cocksucker.
Oh my gosh.
Brilliant. If he was in the studio with you, he could hear a roach or a mouse in the adjoining apartment's kitchen under the sink. This guy's ear, holy shit, CC. My brother, he's one of my oldest friends. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good talent if you're a musician. Okay, well, we're gonna switch gears here. We're gonna shift it back just to kind of wrap it up. I'm curious. Where do you see, like, what do you see the future of like our community, of the Hexagon Pulsican community? Like, where do you think things are going?
I have strong feelings about it, but those strong feelings are accompanied by frequent practice of critical deductive reasoning with guys who hold gifts and talents that I'm a little vacant on. The good thing about that is they remind me or tell me that I possess some strengths that they themselves lack. I found that I always kind of, since I've been here, CC, I always kind of became a community organizer because I recognized early on that the people needed to be brought together, like fucking Voltron. We're better together. And if you can get a team where the one guy's a fucking accountant and tax expert, and the other guy's a blockchain expert, and the other guy's a TA fucking warlord, and then you got your oil painter, and then you got your fucking guy who knows how to promote and market and organize parties, and then you got your guy who fucking finds the best drugs and is a coupon clipper. You know what I'm saying? It helps to have a squadron. And I formed that up twice since I've been here. First in the powwow when I've been kicked out of the vault twice and Cantillon twice. So I'm a G motherfucker. I know how to get kicked out of Hexagon micro communities efficiently. So I started my own, and it was called the powwow. That lasted for a while. And then when I started streaming, I noticed that there was a new strain, a really enthusiastic, like I call them kids, but I'm sorry. That's because if you're 30,
whippersnappers, up and comers,
errant sperm. No, fucking, good people, good guys, mostly a lot of guys. People will notice that. I mean, God, I love the divine feminine, and I think women are just the bee's knees. But when I'm going to war and when I'm tactically planning and doing business, I have a predisposition that I'm magnetized towards my brothers. You know what I mean? I want to work and fucking suffer with brothers, and then I want to go have fun and relax with the sisters.
Wait a second.
How
So
I work,
this is very symbolic. I want to share this with you because I think the way life works is it's constantly unfolding, and you have these ideas and you have things to share and you have desires and all of that, and you don't really know how it's all going to go. And it is really
Oh,
important. It is really important to just take action. So I just want to,
yeah.
as we're winding down, I want to flip this back to you, and I want to acknowledge you, because one of the ways that this has happened just happened a moment ago. And, so like I said, we invited you on to share not only some of your story, but your wisdom. And we really appreciate it. You were, and just, it's the little sort of, you might even, it was accidental or whatever, but in what you just said, it was the sincerity you were talking about, your love of the divine feminine. And so I want you to know you've inspired me. My goal for my next stream is that I'm going to invite at least one, maybe a few of the beautiful, amazing female personalities that are in this community, because I'm like,
I
wait,
love
I'm
it.
3 episodes in, I've had 3 amazing people, but they're all dudes. So let's get
Yeah,
some of the
I think the
divine feminine.
Hexagon women are pretty
I think their
exceptional.
perspective is
Yeah,
important.
yeah. I try to appreciate them. I try to make approaches to them, and they all get skeeved out and run. So,
Well, I'll tell you what. I promise, if I get a special guest, I'm going to say the inspiration, it was from Thothschild. Oh, did I lose you? I lost you. Now you're black. You're black on the stream. You might be coming back. I still see it written underneath. Oh, I don't know. Maybe we're even winding down. I don't know. Maybe there's a time limit on this. No, there you are. I see that. I think you're coming back. But anyway, so you guys heard it here live first, that the goal, inspired by Thothschild, talking about his acknowledgement, recognition, appreciation. We're going to try and get one of the female influencers or personalities. There are many, and they're making an impact on the Hex community, on the Pulse community, in the world. And so that's my goal. I'm gonna try and, let's see. I'm in my wind down period here, but I want to give Thothschild, I want to give him a chance. There he is. I don't want to wrap up. So before we leave, I wanted to just give you the mic for a second to say anything that is burning on your mind that you want to share. I really appreciate your presence here. I think learned more about you, and I want to acknowledge that like you have a lot of wisdom to share. Your honesty, your authenticity,
thanks,
your willingness to express your courage and bravery and say it like it is, even when it hurts people, and even when it means combat, is admirable. And your willingness to also forgive and learn and grow and evolve is a model for the community. So I really thank you for being here. I just want to let you share anything that you want before we sign off. And I also want you to share with the audience where they can find you and check you out.
You're gonna bust me up, man. Like, it's edifying. Thank you, man. Like, sincere thanks, okay? Because it's very, very frustrating when one of your primary life skills is being a communicator, and you're not understood. It makes you, it's crazy making. So I've been blessed to have guys like Wales Only recognize me, value me, and make me a part of his effort for a while there. And guys like Hex Mac, Facing Reality, my co-producer, like Torin, the people I shouted out from the conference, Stones, Interiors, and the OG, the guys that have always been like really cool with me. And this is an interesting thing that happens. And part of me says, fuck it. I'm never scared of it. And I'm not really hurt by it, but I am a little flummoxed by it. That if you were to go to certain vets or OGs or luminaries in the community, you would get a version of me that has nothing to do with what the fuck CC just said there. And I think it's kind of like, it's kind of interesting to me because I'm not trifling. I know that. And I know that I'm the best version of myself that I've fucking ever been, hands down. I love that. But I made a lot of mistakes on the path here. And I'm not talking about in the near term. I'm talking about over decades, man. A lot of fucking up. A lot of dead people. A lot of dead people, you know? And that's real. When you experience that, like Hefe was there the one day, he's gone the next. Nizzo was there the one day, he's gone the next. Phoenix is gone the next. My mama carrying her to the bathroom and then gone. Most important person I had left in my life. You know, I'm like, what are you doing to me here, Carno? You're supposed to help me raise these kids now that I'm fucking divorced. What are you doing cashing out? You ain't supposed to be cashing out. So I like to joke because when I said goodbye to each and every one of them, I said, hey, you know what? I'll see you sometime between later tonight and about 30 or 40 years from now. Guaranteed. And that's just like, hey, man, that's between me and the oversoul. It's guaranteed for all of us. I've learned to embrace a lot of that shit, and I don't have any fear of it anymore because it's as natural as taking a poop. But it was nice the things that you just said, CC. Like, God damn it, that's feels good in my soul to know. That feels vindicated, you know, like to know that these things were kind of recognized. And you, my divergent community, I love you guys, all my viewers, the people who subscribe or follow me. Like, believe it or not, each one of the thousand some of you has a place in my heart and is important to me. And I'm easily found. I'm Thothschild everywhere. So hit me up if you need to, man. If you need some wisdom, if you need some help, I'm here. You know, I don't like seeing people suffer alone. So that's my word. And I want to thank you for the opportunity, CC. You've always been straight up with me. Now, I remember you walk. I remember we got introduced, I think, by Wild SJ by the pool at the Nagabo party, which what a fucking night. Like, that's the first time I ever laid eyes on well, the first time I laid eyes on SJ was a couple hours before when she was wearing her doggy hat, you know, and she was talking to Richard at the conference. But then that's the first night that I locked eyes with Sequoia Stone. That's the first night I shook hands with Brandon Rags. And we went and got our picture taken right away. Marco the fucking Hexican man, Tim Benjamin, you know, and you're standing there. Everybody around us was on something, but I had only been sleep deprived and had a couple drinks. And I'm like, who the fuck invited this fucking pink-haired Teletubby to this hex? And you were the coolest, most interesting, most genuine fucking guy, man. And I remember standing there in that cipher, and Balliet Brand is like, he was very burnt out. I think 4 days of that shit took its toll, and he was standing there like, and you were there, man. You were popping on all cylinders, dynamic, man, like excited to be alive, excited to be in Hex, you know. And I was just like, wow. It was so cool to meet you.
That was a great party, and may there be many more. This is what happens when you put a bunch of Hexicans in a room with a party and some music. It's on. And so awesome. So to be continued. I hope you'll definitely come back and be a guest. I'd love to be a guest if you're doing stuff.
I would love for you to come over to one of these mind spray panels. Ladies and gentlemen watching this stream, if you have not been over to Thothschild channel and checked out the mind spray, I mean, every now and then I'll do a solo show. I'll do a rant. I'll do a topic or subject. But half of the time, I'm inviting guys, for the most part, guys who I believe are the most genuine, authentic, spiritual, intellectual, talented, edgy, brave people in cryptocurrency. And I'll be like, yo, you want to come on? They're like, shit, yeah. It's fucking crazy. Check out some of my panel streams. CC, Cosmic Cowboy, he's going to be joining us.
I love it. I'm excited for Mind Spray. Check it out. We love you. Keep doing it. Keep up. There's a very, very famous saying: if you keep up, you will be kept up. So, and every moment that you, whoever's watching this, are making your best effort and keeping up, you should know you're helping a lot of other people that you don't even see keep up. So on that note, thank you guys. And until the next party, and thanks again, Thothschild. I look forward to seeing you and
Cowboy.
celebrating.
Yeah, man. Big up Divergent. Big up Roganov. Keep your ear to the ground for news about the upcoming hip hop project between me and my old partner in crime. Bless up, Cosmic Cowboy.
Aloha.